special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9. Those of you viewing GBN TV, whether you're viewing Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20, good morning and welcome to today's edition of To The Point. Today being Wednesday, it's the 7th day of August 2024. And of course, on Wednesdays, you know, here on To The Point, we do entertain various departments in government, whether it's government officials, someone representing government is always popping on the program. And of course, representing today, we do have the Honorable Delma with us for this morning, and we certainly will get into the conversation. Before we continue, let me say good morning to you, Honorable Delma Thomas. How are you this morning?
Good morning to you, JT, and good morning to the listeners of GBN To The Point program.
All right. It's a pleasure to have you on the program this morning. I think it's the first time I am having you on the program. It may not be a first at GBN, but it's the first time I'm having you on the program. First time I have entertained a conversation with you also. So it's a pleasure to definitely have you on the program this morning, and we certainly hopeful for a smooth flow as we move through this morning. Let me say also good morning to those of you via social media platforms, whether it's the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning, and thanks for being with us this morning on today's program To The Point for today, Wednesday. MP, let's get the conversation rolling off this morning. Let me first ask you, how are you? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fine.
Yes,
I am fine. I guess you can see that smile on the face.
Blessed and highly favored.
All right, great.
Yes.
Let's start off also with the constituency, of course, that you've been part of. Of course, you have been the MP for St. Andrews Northwest. Mm-hmm. All right. How's the constituency as it stands now?
Well, good. With everything being equal, because you know we had the devastation, so it's not excellent, but it's a work in progress, because we had the devastation of Beryl, which affected many of the farmers within the constituency, and as you know, St. Andrew, and by extension the constituency, is a farming community, and therefore many people would have produce loss, income, but we are a resilient people, and so we are working, knowing that very well that government will come with policies that will provide assistance to the farmers within our constituency and by extension Grenada. So we are doing well for the time.
Okay, great.
It will be better, but we are doing
as it stands now. It's okay for the time being.
For the time
it will get better. My next question I want to ask, of course, and it relates to your constituency also. You won your ticket, as I mentioned before, on an NNP ticket to get to be the MP for St. Andrews Northwest. Then you have now switched, parties to the National Democratic Congress. How is your constituency taking this particular decision, particularly those who voted for you, for you and NMP, I would say? What has been the feedback been thus far in St. Andrews Northwest, if I may ask?
So, JT, when you are elected, though you're running a party ticket, when you are elected as the MP for the people of the constituency. So whether you NNP or you NDC, you are the representative of all the people, and that's what it should be.
Yeah.
So that doesn't change. Whether I'm in NNP or NDC doesn't change my role as a representative of the people of the constituency of St. Andrew Northwest. So it means that I'm serving the people as I did before for the last 2 terms. So that's my 3rd term in being in office.
Yes.
And you must appreciate that the NNP lost the election and I won my seat. That speaks volume, because when you look at all the constituencies where very powerful candidate lost, it speaks that people have trust in you and they believe that you can serve them in government. So not in a party, because the Constitution of Grenada does not recognize a political organization. So as the representative, I am working for the people of the constituency of St. Andrew Northwest. And so the majority of people are happy with my representation in terms of representing them and dealing with the issues that confront them as a constituency. As I did before, I continue to be the representative of the people of the constituency of St. Andrew Northwest.
Okay, great. Now, do you believe that, that some would may have suggested that you should may have resigned from Parliament and allow a by-election to take place, since you're now representing a party that has that your constituency did not vote or given the opportunity to choose? If you understand my question,
then you're going back to you're regressing, because I already told you that the Parliament
I understand.
of Grenada the Parliament of Grenada does not recognize a political party. So the people will have to decide when the election comes next time. At this time, my role is to represent the people, so there's no reason for no by-election. Because in the Parliament, you're not talking about NNP versus NDC. In the Parliament, you're talking about representative, people who are elected by the people to represent them. The question is, am I representing the people of St. Andrew Northwest by virtue of moving to the NDC? And if the people could say, well, I'm not representing them, that's a different issue, but you only make that determination when the next election is called.
Yeah. I understand it from that point of view, but my question was just phrasing it after the suggestion that the individual may have made. You understand? That's where the phrasing of my question comes across. I'm not talking about in the phrase of, being a resident in Parliament. I'm talking under the constituency of you being part of the constituency.
The constituency is not standalone. As a representative, you are representative for the people and you represent in the Parliament. So whatever decision must be taken, if you want a new election, then you'll have to wait for 5 years.
All right. So as it stands, you will continue as you are.
I will continue. Well, I mean, that goes without saying. I'm continuing as I am.
All right, great. Happy to hear that. I guess that covers it up, the whole conversation where we was going along with that. A next question that I have, yesterday we have learned that you've taken up the new portfolio, especially for youth and sports. What are the plans for this particular as you're moving forward? Well, what are your vision for that, going forward in the future also?
As I'm sure you all understand, that is an acting position.
Yes, it's an acting
and
position. And
I only took up the responsibility on Monday, which was a public holiday. And yesterday, we just had inception, just brief with the Prime Minister and members of staff. So I cannot come to you this morning and give you a vision as my vision for the Ministry of Youth and Sport. What I can say that as a government, we are committed to youth and sport development in the country. And so based on all that we did in terms of providing free tuition for children in school is an issue that is a youth issue.
Yeah.
And it's a transformative, one of the biggest transformational issues, because you are providing transformation in education. Youth programming, and there's something I want to clarify, because I listened to your program yesterday, and I heard the former Minister of Youth and Sport and current representative for St. Andrew Northeast saying that the present government is sending home or dismissing Imani program. That is so far from the truth. And I challenge her this morning on your said program to come forward with a list of names of people who have been sent home, different to the program's policy as she know it. Because the program policy is, if you are disengaged for a particular period, then you will be removed payroll until you are re-engaged. If you are giving trouble in a particular area and they move you from site to site and there's no placement, you are home, you will be removed from the payroll. This is not sending home people in mass. The government continue to provide that assistance as it relates to the Imani program. We have not taken a new batch of Imani, and you will appreciate that. Just yesterday, a young lady ran to me, "Minister, I hope you come in to change particular issues, because I've been an Imani trainee for 10 years. So my issue is, if you have a program that is meant to be for 2 years, and you have people there who are over 10 years in the program, it means that they are a level of failure in the program. And so therefore you must look at new ways to engage our young people. And I want to say that this present government is committed to youth development in Grenada. And many times I say to members of cabinet that we do not blow our trumpet enough, because what people are looking at for programs rolling out to say, well, you have a batch of Imani, but you have hundreds of people who get scholarship. You provide support to people to go overseas. You provide a lot of assistance. Even we're talking sports now. Sports is in the air.
Yeah.
We are performing well, and kudos, congratulations to our athlete. I mean, we are proud of Mr. Victor,
yes.
And we are proud of Kirani.
Yes.
Whatever, he's making history. Just by qualifying to run again is the first, so that's a history making. So whether we medal or not, we are so proud of him, and we will be celebrating, having a homecoming event and planning a great activity for our athletes. Tomorrow we expect great things from Anderson Peters also. But the very fact that a small island, just over 100 in population, can have these athletes performing so well speaks to the support of government. And so as a government, we want to commend them and to say to you that we have provided support to our athletes. We have provided support to the team. The Olympic people who are on that went along with the team, they got financial support from government. So as a government, we are committed and will continue to provide support. We'll continue to roll out new programs. In September, we'll have this new cohort of Empower, which is training for at-risk. But we are not stopping there. The very fact that we move the age to 17 inclusive, it means that we are willing to provide educational and skill training opportunity that will enable our young people to get better jobs. And so our programmings as a National Democratic Congress for young people will be short-term programs aimed at the job market. So we'll be working along with the job market. And I think we have already started. And so if, for example, we will be training 100 young people in cybersecurity. At the end of that training program, once they are successful, once they pass, all the trainees automatically will be receiving jobs. So we are training them for the job market. And so we'll be doing that in many other areas. So we'll be working with our business communities. We'll be working with private sector to ensure what are the areas that you need employment. We have the giving job work permits for many areas, and so it means that if we can train our people to take up those jobs which are on the market, these are the areas we will be looking at to provide short-term training, not a program that is aimed for 2 years, and at the end you have them there for over 10 years being trainees. Right. But it is important to note that when the government spoke of minimum wage, the trainees who are under the minimum wage, and remember it's a training program, they receive stipend that will bring them up to the minimum wage of $1,200. So this is a government, if you're saying this is not a government that cares about the youth, then why would this initiative be taken? And you will be seeing a lot of more initiative being rolled out as it relates to youth activities across the Tri-Island state of Grenada, aimed at empowering our young people, aimed at providing them with an avenue for proper remuneration.
Minister, when you started, you said that you only had a briefing, but it seemed like you have a broad-based plan.
So the broad-based plan is the government's plan. What I'm relating to, I'm part of the government and the cabinet.
That I understand.
So I know what
that's
our mandate is.
That's why I was asking what are the plans are.
No, you were asking my vision. So what I'm giving you is government's vision.
But which you are inclusive part of.
Yes.
Part of. We're due for a first break. Let's take it. We'll be right back, folks. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point for today, Wednesday. We'll be right back with much more. Stay with us here on the program this morning. Don't touch your dial.
Spice Mass Corporation, in collaboration with the Grenada Steel Band Association, invites all to Panorama 2024. Come out to the Karani James Athletic Stadium on August the 10th to experience our journey. A brief look at the evolution of Pan in Grenada. 8 of Grenada's biggest steel bands would be vying to be Panorama Champions 2024. Bring your entire posse and represent your band. Lots of giveaways for paying patrons in the audience. Experience the magic of sweet steel band music for only $50. It's Pan, Sweet Pan, August 10th. Our journey, a story to share.
Show me your ID. You walk with your man, you walk with your woman. Party love. I come to party, we no shooting up nobody. Come to party, no violence in this country. You come to party, I want a peaceful party. We come to party, everybody feeling hot, hot, hot.
Hi, hello, I'm Super Flying Flint, and I got a message for everybody. The message is, let's create a safer community for all of us. Put down the guns and let us party.
The gun amnesty remains in effect until July 30th. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Labukan created Creative Center presents the final staging of I Do at the Deluxe Cinema Grenville, Sunday, August 25th at 6 p.m. Tickets available at Labucan Creative Center, Waterfed, and St. Andrew's Pharmacy at $75. It's the most hilarious comedy ever staged in Grenada. It's I Do by Uriah Speeches, Sunday, August 25th, Deluxe Cinema Grenville at 6 p.m. Don't you miss it.
As Grenada grapples with the devastation of Hurricane Beryl, Season 3 of GBN's Our Climate Reality program is focusing on the impact of climate change on small island developing states. Join us on GBN Television, K105 FM, and our Facebook page and YouTube channel for Season 3 of Our Climate Reality, Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Compliments, Grenada Paper Products, and Classic Lighting.
Health and wellness, the core of our existence on planet Earth. Let us hear the voices of our very own citizens, our local and regional medical community, scientists and climatologists. Caribbean Medical TV is geared to developing a consciousness in our people in terms of our health and lifestyle. Knowledge is a very powerful tool, and we must empower ourselves with the information to protect against chronic and other related diseases. From the impact of climate change on our health to NCDs, Season 3 of Caribbean Medical TV tackles the challenges we all face, giving our citizens hope for a better tomorrow. Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back. MP Delma Farmers with us this morning here on the program. MP, welcome back once again. Let's continue our conversation this morning. You have been recently, of course, not too long ago, I would say, been Minister for Mental Health, Special Responsibility for the Mongay Hospital and so forth. Mm-hmm. Tell us about some of the achievements in the ministry thus far since you've been there. The past few months, what are some of the achievements, I may ask? And the further development of that particular ministry? Not that you may be, as I mentioned before, you're moving out of that particular ministry.
No, I'm in the ministry.
You're still going to be there, but you're going to be also in charge of youth.
Yeah, so I'm acting.
Acting there also.
For a period of until the Prime Minister appoint a substantive minister.
Okay, great. So let's talk about, of course, that particular. Let's talk about some of the achievements since you took up that particular role.
I would like to start with the aftermath of burial, because we're talking psychosocial, we're talking mental health.
Yes.
And so just the fact that you have a devastation, there will be mental distress, especially in St. Patrick and Carriacou. When you lose your shelter, when you lose everything you have, there will be mental distress, and you have families and you have people needing psychosocial support from the state.
Yes.
And so as a ministry, we have collaborated with the Ministry of Social Development, where you have a lot of social workers, a lot of counselors who normally do those things. So we have had debriefing sessions with our staff in Grenada, appreciating that they had to be there working while their families were at risk and even getting damage of their properties themselves on mainland Grenada. So we had a debriefing session with them. Debriefing meaning that you provide counseling, you provide a space where they can speak of what transpired, how they feel, and so you get to deal with the issues that confront them as staff. Many times we expect them to work for others, and we are not looking after their own mental health. Every one of us need to do our own mental health check.
So true.
So true. We had that session in Grenada, and we also had it in Carriacou with staff there. We have only one mental health nurse in Carriacou, and I want to place on record here our thanks and our commendation to her. Even after losing her roof and stuff during the hurricane, she continued to be a pillar and a source of strength in Carriacou, working along with the team when they reached there to deal with our patients, because what we did was have a team going up, our doctors and stuff, because we have patients who are in Carriacou who have lost everything, and therefore we want to make sure that we check them to make sure everything is okay, make sure they have the medication, make sure we know we do our counseling sessions with them, and that took place and it is continuous. You will appreciate that psychosocial support is not a one-off when you have those kind of distress. So as a team, we continue to provide and continue to work with staff in terms of providing the psychosocial support, and also the people of Carriacou and the people of St. Patrick. Right. So just last weekend, we also provide support to the ACD, Alliance of Evangelical Churches, who had a session there, and so our Director of Mental Health joined them, and we provide particular support so that we can continue to provide that support. We have many people, and I want to highlight Simo Stewart. Yeah. He's a trained professional in that field who lives in England and who have volunteered his service. So he have some clients working with virtually, providing support. We have diaspora in the US, many trained professionals, Grenadian born, who have reached out to us, who came down. So we have people who are on island being part of our team to provide psychosocial. We have one lady who even went to Carriacou with the team in providing psychosocial support. So we continue as a government and as a ministry to provide psychosocial support to those after the devastation of Hurricane Beryl. And we continue to work as a ministry, and as you try to find out exactly what is happening as it relates to the Ministry of Mental Health, you'll appreciate that it's a new ministry. Yes. Mental health is not new in Grenada. We have Ministry of Health that deals with it was all inclusive, but now it's more emphasis on mental we put this government have it as one of the priority in dealing with the mental health of our people. We must appreciate that when you're talking about the individual, we talk about mind, body, and soul. And so we have given priority in providing support, not only to people when they get mentally ill, but provide an avenue when you have distress that you can have a place where you can speak and provide support at the level of the communities for families who are in distress. So we have a number of training activities already. So we had a first set of training for our police officers and nurses, appreciating that they are the first responders in terms of mental distress in the community. So we had one in Grenville, we had one in St. George's where we provide training with them. Then we had training for faith-based organization. And we also appreciate that faith-based organization have a wide congregation. They have a wide, there are people who normally would come to pastors looking for psychosocial support, looking for counseling on particular issues. So we had a training session where we had over 20 religious bodies, or not, but people attending that first training. It will be continuous training, meaning that we'll continue to provide training to assist our people to be able to assist at the level of the community. Right. We have also provided some training in the school. We have started, and then the hurricane came in during the period when we had to continue in the other schools. So in September, we'll continue to go to the schools and speak to the children. So it will be part of what we do in terms of providing psychosocial support for the schools in the community and, our professionals who deal with people that have mental illness.
Okay. I just want to go back a wee bit to Carriacou and ask a wee bit about the assessment that has been done so far. Especially you speak a lot about the psychosocial aspect of people who have lost their house and maybe all of their belongings. Now, from the ministry point of view, what is the state of that particular assessment, or what plans has been developed thus far for Carriacou? You're talking about for individuals who may have lost all their and they ask whatever plans you may have.
So the Ministry of Mental Health would not provide as it relates to rebuilding.
No, I'm not talking about the rebuilding. We're talking about the psychosocial aspect of things in Carriacou for individuals who may have lost. when you've done the assessment of all who have visited Carriacou, I'm assuming yourself may have visited, and saw the devastation that may have taken place. I'm not saying the ministry is responsible for building. That's a no-no. All right? Well, I'm talking about the psychosocial help that could be given to individuals up there, knowing that the plight that may have gone through. What are some of the plans for that?
So when you talk about psychosocial, you're talking about having a discussion with what...
Yes, what are some of the
and
plans?
Psychosocial also means that you deal with the issues that confront them.
Yes.
So as a government,
Yes.
I'm going to speak as a government.
As a government. But I'm also speaking in relation to your ministry. What are the main plans you have for helping the folks in Carriacou?
Well, the thing about it is working with them on the issue of providing, because psychosocial support, as I said, is having discussion. It's not giving materials.
I'm not saying you're giving the material, but the assistance and plans that you have.
So our plan is to provide continuous support to get our team to continually be there with the people of Carriacou, especially during the rebuilding effort, and even providing support, because one of the issues in terms of mental distress, and it's not mental illness, because distress because disaster came and you lose everything.
Yes,
is to provide a state of happiness, to bring back happiness. And so the government, in terms of education, will be having programs that will engage our young people, camp, like, preparing them back for school and getting the children to come together where they can play, where they can socialize. Yeah. Then the whole issue of helping to relieve stress. So one of the things is that if you are, for example, there are children who applied for school, SGU, or other educational opportunity, as a government will put things in place to ensure that happens. And I cannot speak at length on those issues. The Minister of Education will speak on those particular issues. But it means that providing a state of normalcy, because what you want to do is to bring them back to a state of normalcy.
Yes.
In terms of putting a roof over their heads, ensuring that they have food, ensuring that they have shelter. Because when you're talking about psychosocial, one of the key aspects is to provide the basic needs: food, clothing, and shelter. And so as a government, we continue to provide, we continue to come up, and I know at 10 o'clock you see Prime Minister and other members of the team, Minister of Finance, will be speaking to the nation on the packages that will be available. So that's their forte, and you will get information from them on that. So I'm not privy to speak to you on that, but I'm saying that we will be doing all in our powers as a government to provide and take care of the people that have been devastated.
Let's speak a little bit, Minister, as it relates to the Monge Hospital facility. There's been some what are some of the major challenges, I would say? Are we hearing there's some major challenges going up there in terms of, the bed bug infestation? We've been hearing about the dengue outbreak recently. We heard about outbreaks in terms of the chicken pox at the facility and so forth. What is the reality? What are the challenges the facility is actually facing, if I may ask?
So those realities that you're talking about, because you see, we have to be transparent and honest with the Grenadian people.
Yeah.
These are issues that have confronted the Monge Mental Hospital for years. The issue of bed bugs is not a new issue. The issue of outbreaks, because you're talking about a facility where you have people, so you would have things like that, but how you deal with those challenges is what is important. So as a government, we have been doing cleaning in terms of having those experts coming to help to eradicate, get rid of all old mattresses and get new ones. So we have purchased as a ministry over 30 mattresses. We have sourced maybe in excess of 60. We have also sourced brand new beds, because there are serious challenges that confronts Monge Mental Hospital.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Be told, Monge Mental Hospital was a place that was really abandoned. The whole issue of mental health and how we treat mental health in Grenada over the years, there was no priority. However, this new government is giving priority and is putting the monies where their mouth is. I took the entire cabinet to Monge Mental Hospital to have an appreciation of what is exactly happening there. Because you could hear from people, but when you see and feel what the workers and the residents or the patients there are feeling, it gives you an appreciation to provide more revenue, more monies in terms of helping, more resources. I shouldn't say money, because not all the time it's money. you need trained staff, and so as a government we are committed. We already sent one nurse to train to be an expert in mental health, and we'll continue to provide more training for nurses. But in terms of ensuring that more will be trained specifically in mental health, and we're looking at more scholarships for counseling and social workers, and so because we realize that there is an issue as it relates to HR, as it relates to staffing, having the proper staff there at Monge. And so we continue to provide that assistance. But I want to commend our staff at the Monge Mental Hospital who are giving their best and having to deal with even the stigma and discrimination as family members, because people want to see you working there, they have you in a particular category.
But let me just cut you by. I just wanted to know, how soon could we hear those challenges will be a thing of the past? I know everything has a timeline on it, because as you said, these problems has been there for a while.
So
do you have a timeline in terms of making we hear those particular challenges become a thing of the past?
Well, you must understand that this is a work in progress.
Yes,
you can't say, well, I'm going to have all mental health nurses trained, because it's going to take maybe 1 year to 2 years to have people who are specifically trained in those fields. What I can say that as a government, we have hired new doctors or more doctors as it relates to mental health. We have had them at the level of the community providing that particular support. So we already started to make those necessary changes that you are talking about. We are working now to provide some infrastructure changes as it relates to the structure of Monge. When you see the facility, it's in urgent need of care. And so,
but have you been given it that care as you read?
Yes,
you said the structure has a problem, and so what are you giving it that care?
Yes, we are giving it that care. We have working on providing the fencing. We are working on doing the infrastructure work. So that will be something that will be out for bidding to ensure that we provide those repair work and rehabilitation work that is needed as it relates to infrastructural development. We are providing more resources as it relates to ensuring that they have medication at all times. That is one thing that we are committed to do. To the PSNI, we ensure that we keep on top of these things, because these are things that the past what you heard before, that you don't have this particular medication or you're missing that. We want that to be a thing of the past, and so since we took up that responsibility, we ensure that we work to make sure procurement and all that have medication. We provide the support to families.
So there's still an issue in terms of medication issue at the facility?
No. I'm saying that these are things you heard before. Yeah. But I say when we came in, and we knowing that you're hearing that on the ground before, that these were things that we ensure we worked on to ensure that it's not a thing happening right now.
All right. I'll be move on shortly. We due for a break. Let's take a we come back. We still have much more to discuss here on the program this morning. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio. We will be right back. Don't touch it down.
Imagine for just $15, you can win free gate passes to any Spice Mass semi-final or final show or other top Carnival season shows of your choice. From now to August 10th, every time you spend $15 in Daily Cash 4, Daily Pick 3, or Playway in a single purchase, check your ticket to see if the words "You are a winner" are written on it. Follow the instructions and redeem your winning ticket at any authorized show of your choice. All you have to do is present your winning ticket at the gate of your show of your choice for scanning. But guess what? The more $15 you spend in daily games in a single purchase, the more chances you have to win free gate passes. Compliments the NLA. Over 400 free gate passes are up for winning instantly, Monday to Saturday. Secure yours now. Spice Mass is on, and the NLA grants you free access. Must be 18 or older to participate. Terms and conditions apply. NLA, proud platinum sponsor of Spice Mass, making your carnival dreams affordable.
Flatlands, Park, Ship, and Print, together with Concept Events, present Pre-Day, the biggest show in Grenada's Carnival. Wednesday, August 7th, Grenada National Stadium. Gates open at 9 p.m. Showtime 10 p.m. A celebration of the Jab, featuring the Minister of Jab, the Jab Boss, Talpri.
I am the Jab Boss. Certain things I end up.
Also featuring guest performances by TNT's Road March King, Mikhail Tasia, Nadia Batson, and Sass. Dubois. Problem Child. Lil Rick. Med Pipe and Status. Lyrical. Westways, Boise, Lava Man, Corn, Terror, The Governor, Skinny Banter, Super Flying Flip, Muddy, and Squeeze Head, Temperance Dash, and a whole lot more. Also, a special surprise guest. All early bird tickets are sold out. Get your $100 regular tickets right now, and also get your VIP $600 tickets. It is the biggest event to touch down this Carnival 2024. Pre-day.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. With us this morning, of course, MP Delma Thomas. Let's talk a wee bit about rehabilitation here in Grenada. Of course, we know of the rehabilitation centers and so forth. Share some information with us about that, because rehabilitation is a key factor in terms of, individuals in this country. Folks go through, we spoke about the Monge Hospital, but there's always that process of being rehabilitated in terms of what you do. Tell us about the rehabilitation centers and so forth, and what's taking place there.
Well, if we're speaking about the Ministry of Mental Health and Rehabilitation for Mental Health, at this time, Grenada does not have any rehabilitation center. You know of the Carlton Home?
Yes. I know
20 years ago, it was destroyed by Hurricane Ivan. So 20 years later, it takes a new government to give it priority to ensure that we rebuild a facility that will assist in providing support in rehabilitation for people who are drug addicts, people who are involved in alcohol use. And so where we are at this time, what you'll see, we are working on our, so we have the lands already secured in my constituency in Maribor, close to the hospital. And that so we'll have the surveying and the clearing of the site will be done before the end of this year. Right. So we are signaling that we will rebuild a center. We already had a draft of what that facility will look like. We went through it with staff and key stakeholders as a first step, and so there will be more consultation on to ensure that we get a facility that is fit for purpose, that will be able to provide the services both in-house and outpatients. Okay. And so within our we know that this new facility will take in excess of over a year to rebuild. And so what we will seek to do, though, in our new budgetary year, look at an outpatient facility where we can provide some support in the meantime for people who desperately need that support as it relates to rehabilitation. So that is something we are working on, something we will roll out in our new, preparing for the new budget in terms of rehabilitation.
I was going to ask this because I can how committed is government to this? Because, rehabilitation is seriously a big problem in Grenada. We see a lot of individuals go through the system a whole lot, have their whatever problem that we have, become drifters and just prolong the areas around the island, and helping them to rehabilitate themselves is always very important. You understand? So I just want to know how committed is government towards that.
So I want to say the entire government, in fact my entire team, we have the full support of our Prime Minister, and the truth about it, I do not have to tell you that. I think you're the converted when you look at the fact that he has a whole ministry designated for mental health wellness, and he has also involved the religious aspect, knowing that they too have a part to play. So it speaks to his priority in dealing with the issue of mental health. But I want to say that the entire team, I have the support in terms of us moving forward to providing that avenue of rehabilitation for citizens.
All right. My next other question, I want to ask you this. You've been a former Minister of Housing, and you have, of course, you have given us some guidance as to what's the original plan regarding the Chinese housing and the distribution by the New National Party when you were a part of that particular administration, as opposed to what is taking place with those houses under the National Democratic administration. If you could give me some clarification on that.
When you say the original plan, what do you mean?
Well, when we say the original plan regarding the Chinese houses and their distribution, I would say, I would ask it in that particular manner.
So let me answer the question twofold.
Yes, tell me.
First of all, we must take into consideration that we had a first 300 and something units
Yeah.
of Chinese houses distributed to different people.
Yes.
Have you seen and heard from residents what are the issues there that confronts them?
Well, we have heard of issues that was
Exactly.
confronted. We have heard about the issue that confronted them.
Okay. So what, and there was no time, and maybe that's one of the points maybe you want to get. The former administration, I being the minister, there was no time we agreed that these houses will be given free to all Grenadians.
So there was never any agreement on
so,
that.
Hold on, let me. I would want to be dishonest here to say that all the houses will be given free. There were some designated units aimed at people who may be at risk, who cannot pay, who might have let's say family violence or so, but it's temporary. So it's not the family. So it's not given to them as a unit for you to keep. It's a unit that you use as a transitional home. So you may have a violence home where you wait for government to provide some other step. Then you can live there temporarily, and I think that still happens now. So there are units which are left for emergency cases. However, the only difference to what was there before is that you had to pay through the housing authority.
Yes.
So there was salary deduction and whatever the decision was to sell the houses. Yes. The decision was to sell the houses to before.
So you're saying from the new National Party,
yes,
when they was in administration, when they was being part of government,
and I could pull up a submission to show you
So
that the decision was to not to sell it to you have to go to the bank for a loan.
Yeah.
Is that you pay through salary deduction, and that's happening now even with the first set.
Yes.
However, you'll appreciate that when you have to pay government, people are not willing to pay, and so you have and that's the reason why you had a number of challenges as it relates to the Chinese, the first phase, where people would be calling with leaks and all that, and the housing authority was did not have the ability, because they're not collecting enough to even maintain a normal maintenance, to repair the many issues. And every day you will have just recently you have from Dunfermline, you have people say bats, and you have flooding, and you have issues that need repairing. But you have more than half of the people who are supposed to make those payments not made. So in the first phase, there were the people of Sobeys. I think the negotiation with the representative then was because, remember, it was a different issue. It was an issue where people was on the seafront, and you want to remove them from the seafront. So what had happened is that these people were moved from the seafront to the unit in Sobeys, and those who were on the seafront, they did not have to pay.
Okay.
But the people who got units who were not on the seafront, they had to make monthly deductions for a period. And to me, even the whole contractual arrangement, on looking back, that sometimes we be honest with ourselves. There's some things, on retrospect, you said maybe how you do it is not, because it was like a list. Really and truly, they didn't even own it. Even you're paying, the whole arrangement, it was like a lease kind of arrangement. It's not a case where at the end of the day, the unit is yours.
Or you wouldn't have that freehold after
yes.
that.
There was not that completion, and people were questioning that. There were many, and the people could speak to that. The people who are there now, many of them would be calling every time and saying, well, I'm paying every month, but it's like I'm paying a rent. It's like I'm renting a place. What are the policies in terms of giving us to complete, the payments?
Right.
So, and we did have... Hold on, we did have, if you want to pay upfront.
Yeah.
So what you have now is maybe the only difference is that you say you get your monies and come and pay to get your units. Whereas before you said, well, you could do deduction through housing authority, and we had issues with that. So when you look at the challenges that we had with that, I think that might be the reason that the present government decides, well, if we have to provide you with a unit, then if you pay up front, then it will be better able to manage, and it's yours. So if when you have a leak, if it's yours, then you repair it for yourself. But if you feel that you're paying a rent, if you're renting a home from somebody, as the first set seems to be like, then it means that you'll always have to come to the housing authority, whether or not they have the resources to assist you. Then it will, and then we have those issues that we have, that this present government have to spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in repair work in the old unit, and I think that's a means to alleviate that, and that's the reason why you have those new policies. However, after the devastation, I show you how the Prime Minister would have said that as it relates to Carriacou, once the repair work is done, then people who are needing housing the decision will be different as it relates to that. Right. But the truth is, I've been to Carriacou, and maybe you should too, and to see, I'm not sure where the housing authority is as it relates to those repair work, but that's one time I realized that maybe there was a tornado as it relates to the hurricane, because when you look even on the top buildings, apart from windows, in every unit you see like some windows broken, you also have issues where it's like a mudslide, even on the high part. And I remember asking the people from Housing Authority and the other people, you sure that not a tornado we had during the hurricane, because of the level of mudslides you see all over. So it means that there's a lot of work to be done in terms of maybe power washing and repairing. There are some parts where the damage is not as bad as others, will take less time, but there are work to be done. There's no water. A lot of the water lines and stuff, I saw that they were damaged. So I think that the Housing Authority will have to, in first order, repair that, and then government will decide how they move forward.
As you want Carriacou, let me ask, prior to Hurricane Beryl, there always been that issue in terms of Carriacou, in terms of the Chinese houses distribution. Some folks, they were said by the present administration that the houses were not distributed properly. I'm not sure if you could share with me, as a person who was the Minister of Housing, with the distribution. Was there a problem with the distribution of those houses in Carriacou prior to Hurricane Beryl and all before the situation that we are in now? There's always been an issue in terms of where they say that the houses were not distributed properly. What was really the problem in Carriacou?
Well, I cannot speak to the problem. Remember, the houses were handed over to the Housing Authority of Grenada for distribution.
Yes.
I know that some people would have received letters leading up to the elections. Mm-hmm. And I know also is aware that after a period of 2 years, there are people who receive letters who no longer want it, who move on, who build house, who buy lands, and so it means that you may have to really look and ensure that who you give the units to people who deserving and who need them. Yeah. So that I could speak to. But in terms of distribution, as a minister, I was not part of any distribution process. Yeah. Everything was designated to the Housing Authority of Grenada.
All right. So you're not sure whatever problem
as I said, it was leading up to the election. Yeah. So the truth is, I do not have the details. I'm not in the Minister of Housing at present, and I do not have the details.
Well, I was asking a question as you being the previous minister.
Yeah, so what you're asking me is questions based on perceptions, and so I cannot speak based on perceptions from the general public.
Point taken. My final question before the break, and after this question, we lead to, of course, take some phone calls from our listeners and viewers this morning. What do you have to say about the revocation of Mr. Jonathan's Lacrette? He was previously held 2 portfolios, of course, that holds, health and then youth. What's your take on, of course, on his revocation? What do you say on a personal level?
What I would say on, I respect.
What would you have to say in terms of his revocation? Know that he previously holds the 2 portfolio that you will now hold on, health and sport. What do you take in reference to his revocation?
It should be told is that the Prime Minister is responsible for appointing ministers. So I am thankful to the Prime Minister for appointing me and trusting me to be in his cabinet after I run on the next ticket as Minister of Mental Health. Mm-hmm. So that's his prerogative to decide who he wants in his cabinet and who he do not want. So he has a right to appoint, and he can also revoke appointment. And so I respect his decision to revoke the former Minister Lacrette's appointment. And I want to wish Mr. Lacrette all the best. I mean, we are colleagues, and I mean, we worked well. There were no issues like personal issues with me, and I've never seen any personal issues with him and other members of the team. But the only thing I would say on that issue is that I respect the decision made by the Prime Minister, and I wish former Minister Lacrette the best in his whatever new portfolio or new thing he endeavors at.
Thank you so much. We drew for a break. Let's take this break. When we come back, listeners and viewers, you have the opportunity to ask, of course, the dear minister any question you may like to ask when we do come back from the break. Stay with us. It's To The Point.
Spice Mass Corporation, in collaboration with the Grenada Steel Band Association, invites all to Panorama 2024. Come out to the Karani James Athletic Stadium on August the 10th to experience our journey. A brief look at the evolution of Pan in Grenada. 8 of Grenada's biggest steel bands would be vying to be Panorama Champions 2024. Bring your entire posse and represent your band. Lots of giveaways for paying patrons in the audience. Experience the magic of sweet steel band music for only $50. It's Pan, Sweet Pan, August 10th. Our journey, a story to share.
Flatlands, Parkship, and Print, together with Concept Events, present Pre-Day, the biggest show in Grenada's Carnival. Wednesday, August 7th, Grenada National Stadium. Gates open at 9 p.m. Showtime 10 p.m. A celebration of the Jab, featuring the Minister of Jab, the Jab.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Just a couple more minutes left on today's program. We have with us MP Delma Farmers with us this morning. Listeners and viewers over there, if you do have a question or two that you may like to ask the minister, feel free to do so in this segment. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Caro.
Good morning. It's GT here.
Delma Thomas. Hello, are you hearing me?
Caller, yes. Go right ahead, please.
Yes. I want to thank you. I live at Monge. House and scheme, Chinese house and scheme. And Ms. Delma, you was the person that's responsible for me having this house. After having talked with Peter David, so I'm very thankful. And you are doing a very, very good job. I understand yesterday on listening one of the former MP, she said that 2 ministers have been fired since this administration coming forward. Do you have any truth or do you know anything about that? I practically know about one. Do you know about another MP, former MP, and who is now just the parliamentary representative for his area doing some studies? I had a problem with that woman. If somebody come and tell her, if school children say, why she's acting like that, why she don't move mature, just like you. I am proud to say, you help me. And I want to give you kudos for that. And my name is Nigel German Maki, the basketball coach. And Mr. Joseph Cado know me. Thank you, Ms. Delma.
I hope all is well with you, German. Take care of yourself. Continue taking care of yourself. And the whole issue of ministers being fired. So the Prime Minister would have made a decision to revoke, which is in his prerogative. And he makes decisions in the best interests of the country. But I mean, GT, if you look at, we had elections in so my first term in office was 2013. Yeah. And the NNP came into office. We had 15 seats. Not everyone who won this seat was in the cabinet.
So true.
So there were two persons outside at each given time. We had former Minister Yolan Bain Hospital, who was the representative St. Andrews Southwest. You had Tobias Clement being outside. Then in the second term, you have Anthony Boson not being given any role, and same Toby. So the truth is, the Prime Minister decides that, and even when a Prime Minister make changes in his cabinet, you have reshuffles, and you have that. So those issues is about being fired. I am not. I mean, those are just political rhetorics, and we have to call it out for what it is.
Okay, great. Let's entertain another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome.
Hey, good morning, GT. Good morning, Sister Delma. It's always a breath of fresh air listening to you. And I did not get a chance to see you in New York, so I hope to see you another time. Yes, my question, all right? Okay, I know, like, okay, when you was in the last administration, I know you saw during the COVID, I think you was in health. So how, okay, as they put you into that new ministry, what is your biggest challenge so far? And then, okay, did you think that you accomplished some of the things that you wanted to accomplish? And my second question concerning the housing, as you said, because I asked Clarice Modest the same question concerning the listing of the apartments, and then you didn't get to own it. So I think the only difference here that with this government, you get to own it. All right, so Sister Delma, always a pleasure. I love you a lot. And then I know your husband very well. Tell him I say hi.
All right, thank you, caller.
The caller didn't tell me who he is, so I don't know who I telling my husband say hi. But the thing about he asked whether or not, in terms of challenge, as human beings, we were made to deal with challenge. And so the only thing that is constant in life is change. Yes. So the fact that I worked in the Ministry of Community Development and Housing before doesn't mean that that's the only place I should work, because you have to be able to prove what you're made of. And so I have a passion for mental health. It's no secret that I've spent many times speaking publicly before I became that specific minister, because my mother has mental illness. So I have a family history of mental illness. I had to deal with the issue of stigma and discrimination because of my family's history. And therefore, when I got that responsibility, I saw it as a stepping stone whereby I can make positive changes in Grenada as it relates to ending stigma and discrimination, and to dealing with policies that will assist people who are mentally challenged, but people who might be in mental distress that will need our support to ensure that they do not get permanently mentally ill. So I am committed. It's where my passion lies in terms of working overtime to ensure that I will be in the history book when it comes to those issues and those policies that confront mental health and wellness in Grenada.
Okay, great. We do have another caller. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, GT. Good morning to Ms. Delma. You spoke about mental illness. Well, I would advise you that not every mental person have mental illness. Some of them have possession by the devil. So I think you should look into maybe getting a pastor sometime to go come up there and pray for those people up there. My second point is that, you spoke about the Prime Minister have a right to make his decision. And I don't understand that. But I followed the last election, and Mr. Lacrette has been a strong supporter of the NDC. You jump ship. So how come the Prime Minister could lose confidence in a strong NDC and put all his confidence in a strong NNP? Because it doesn't make much sense. Have a nice day.
Caller, that's an opinion you gave there, and so it doesn't require a response.
Okay. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Minister Thomas, and good morning, GT. Before I ask my question, the last caller, I think he is really out of place. Because why people get fired from jobs? I'm not saying I don't know the full story of what happened, but people get fired from jobs all the time. Anyway, Miss Minister, or Madam Minister, there's an issue. First of all, I really support you in your effort in dealing with mental illness. And so I've seen too many people fall by the wayside. So I'm very glad that you are being given the task to deal with that. And you know who's speaking, huh? Anyway, after Hurricane Ivan, some money was spent on developing a manual, a psychosocial manual entitled Grenada Post-Disaster Psychosocial Response Manual. It was never used. And I've asked successful people, including Sylvan, even recently, about that manual. It may need a little updating, but I think this is something that should be deployed, improved and deployed, because it was a waste of money. And I don't know if because I'm on the front page, and a sister is on the front on the cover of this that you would never use, but is a thing that very properly done. I wasn't part of the preparation. I was in a seminar in which they did a skit, and that drew the attention of the people who were preparing that, and myself and another person is on the front cover. So I would like, and the thing about it, Minister, I've asked, like when Mr. Terry Charles was in the Red Cross, even years later, I asked him, he didn't know about that. So many people in sectors deserving to have that document have not seen the document. Have you ever seen that document? And finally, in terms of the aid the situation, I am proposing, I have the view that we need to work on the community in order to help to ease the stress on the mental health or people's overall well-being. I hope I've made sense to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Caller.
Thank you. Caller, made a lot of sense, and especially let me talk to the last part. We believe, as a ministry and as the expert, that if we deal with the issues that confront families and people with mental health issues or distress at the level of the community, then we will help to, in a large sense, eliminate the major stress that you have on the Monge Mental Hospital, and therefore our plans and policies is taking into consideration the community. Recently, we purchased a new vehicle for the community health nurses so that they can be in every parish going around seeing not only patients and their families, but people who may need their support. And so as we go into a new budgetary year, we will even expand on what we do as it relates to community intervention, as it relates to mental health. And we have also given them tools in terms of bags, and I want to thank the diaspora who, when I seek assistance in providing that first aid bags with and where we can put medication and all that, they gave generously, and I want to thank them for that. And I want to thank members in the diaspora also who provided support for our nurses. You know, our nurses are working very hard, and therefore we want to ensure that we can provide an avenue for them to distress on a quarterly basis and highlight their achievement. So we have launched what we call our award, where we'll be giving them, little awards, motivating them to continue to perform well and giving them a little massage, a little nail, those kind of issues that can assist you to relax. And we'll continue to do that as it relates to providing support for our staff.
We do have another caller with maybe our final caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Telesford. Greetings and good morning to you and your guests. Let me establish the following. The brief comment that I shall make, and my question based on one premise. Having worked throughout my lifetime in building and maintenance of systems upon which we live and support ourselves, I understand the meaning of the word foundation, because I know as a fact, logically, that nothing can be built if there is no proper foundation. Nothing can be built on placid ground to last. It is written in the Bible and even in Nancy's story with the pig and them and the wind blowing. In this here country, we are ruled by a law of 1885, 939 years, called the Hospital Act. Pay attention. We have tried throughout the history of this here country, even during its status as a quote-unquote politically independent and sovereign nation state. But we all know that nothing changes. The people of this country are referred to as lunatics and imbeciles in the law. Question, therefore, what is the minister and her quote-unquote team doing to correct this anomaly? Can you do anything without a proper foundation to guarantee that the people with mental disability, because in fact, according to UN Convention on Disabilities, people with mental disability are qualified as people with disabilities. What can you do and what are you doing, if you are doing, to really guarantee the rights of these people? Really? I trust that my question is understood. Thank you very much and have a nice
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much.
So as it relates,
because we have to take a wrap.
So in terms of people being called lunatic, that and I mean even in our law books. So that's where we have to start. We have to relook the laws as it relates to mental health.
Yes.
So that is something that will be on our agenda, and even people who are who have mental disabilities that commit a crime, how they are treated. Even the issue of suicide being a crime. Suicide cannot be a crime if you're saying that this is a mental issue that caused that. So those are areas that we will look to address as a government and we'll speak more of, because it's gone past 10 and I would like GBN to bring our Prime Minister and the team on the stimulus packages that will be delivered to thing. So JT, it was nice being here. I look forward to being back with you on another time. I look forward to our celebration later. All roads lead to Guelph. So I will be in St. John's this afternoon with my colleague, Minister James, and other members of the team watching the race as we support Team Grenada, Kirani James, and the entire team. Lyndon Victor, we have Anderson tomorrow, and we have the other members who made the Olympic team. We are proud of you, and we look forward to celebrating you big at the end of this event.
All right. MP, I want to thank you once again for being on the program. It's a pleasure to have you, and best wishes for the rest of the day.
Thank you, and same to you.
Hey, folks, that's where we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. Join us again for another edition. That's what we say.
Everyone who assisted in any way.